Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nasalli ala Rasulil Kareem amma ba'd. Now we're moving on to bal, the huruf al-ma'ani in bal. So bal, لتدارك الغلط بإقامة الثاني مقام الأول. What do we say here? That the word bal is to make up, tadaruk, to make up, compensate for a mistake, an error. So when you make an error in your speech and you want to make up for it, compensate for it, what do we use? Bal. And what does bal do? Bal is to make the second word come in place of the first word. Okay? So what we need to remember here, there's two types of words. I explained this came in the Mabadu Usool video that you watched. Let me explain it again. There's something called ikhbar and there's something called insha. Ikhbar is basically you are wording what already exists in the real word, or what you think will exist in the real word. Okay? If we say Jalasa Abdullah, Abdullah sat, Abdullahi qa'imun, Abdullah standing. What I'm doing, I'm just giving information. There's two sentences. One is Jalasa qama, huwa qa'imun, huwa jalisun. One is true, one is false. But I'm just giving information regarding what I believe, or what I just give information about the real word. It's called ikhbar. Now when you're giving ikhbar, you can make a mistake in ikhbar, can't you? Let's say for example, I thought you were standing but you were actually not sitting down. Or let's say for example, you're behind the curtain and I thought he was there. I say, huwa mawjoodun, huwa ghaibun. I said, la, bal huwa mawjoodun. So huwa ghaibun, and I heard a voice, oh, bal huwa mawjoodun. So Abdullahi ghaibun, bal mawjoodun, bal hadirun. So in ikhbar, what you are doing is actually correcting your information. Are you following? And in insha'i, jumlat insha'i, as you've done in balagha and in kubra, is when you are actually, your insha is actually giving wujud. Yes? So for example, if I said to you, now ishtaraitu, the word ishtaraitu is mushtarak between ikhbar and insha. Yes? For example, if I said to you, ishtaraitu thawban amsi, I purchased a cloth yesterday, I purchased a qamis yesterday. Yes, that's ikhbar. And the word ishtaraitu, when you're doing ijab and qabul, can also be for insha. So the ishtaraitu wa qabiltu, ishtaraitu wa bi'tu in qudul is insha. That I am actually initiating the transaction. Yes? So if I say, for example, I said to you regarding, let's say for example, my wife, I said, qabiltuha qabla 20 sana. I accepted her in my marriage 20. I said, qabiltuha is basically, what is that? Ikhbar or insha? Ikhbar. Or when there's a nikah going on, and the husband and the bride and the groom, so you take permission from the bride, and the husband says in the gathering, qabiltuha, what's that? That's insha. He's now doing the qabul, he's making the qabul come into existence. So even the sigha is the same. Are you following? Between ikhbar and insha. If you want to understand this, an example of this is, let's say for example, there's a document, how to make a qamis, how to make a shirt. And I said the shirt is 14 inches. And I said, oh, sorry, not 14 inches, actually 21 inches long. So I'm saying the shirt is actually 14 inches, it's 14 inches. Actually, this is a mistake I made. Now all I'm doing is making a mistake in my information. But when you're doing insha, you're actually bringing wujud to it. What are you doing? You bring it into existence. Now if you cut it 12 inch, 14 inches, you can't change that. It's already 14 inches, you cut it, you can't undo the cut. Are you following? So insha is actually giving wujud. So when you're saying, I cut the shirt 14 inches, no, I cut the shirt 21 inches. You made a mistake, you're changing the ikhbar. But when you're cutting a shirt, you cut it, you've done insha of it. You've given it wujud of a 14 inches size, or 21 inches size. Are you following? Now you can't change insha. You've done it. Yes? For example? No, not saying you say, you actually cut it. Yeah, it's a rough example. It's tashbih, doesn't have all mushabah min kulli al-wujuh. So what happens now in insha, you actually give, so when you say for example, if I said I broke the glass, no, I didn't break it. And I said, oh, badum, insha. Oh, I didn't break it. Well, you broke it. You can't change that. No, you broke it. It's broken. If you get a glass and you broke, then you throw the glass on the ground. You can't say, oh, I didn't break it. That's not ikhbar, that's insha, that's a fail. You then wujud of the breaking. Are you following? Is that a better example? If I got a piece of a glass and I broke it, so I can say, oh, I didn't break the glass. I broke it. Sorry, I didn't break it. So I'm then actually changing what actually happened. And if I get the glass and throw it on the floor, a glass or a piece of, throw it on the floor, that's insha. So similarly, in mu'amalat, you can't change insha. Yes? You following? Okay? Now based on this, let's have an example here. Zaydun. If I say Ja'a Zaydun, yes? So what am I talking about? Mistake, not Zaid. Khalid. It's ikhbar. So it's sahih that I made a mistake. I was talking about. I meant to say Khalid, but I said Zaid, or I misunderstood. It's not Zaid that came. Who came? Khalid. Acha. And I said, Anti taliqun, bal mahbooba. Now, Anti taliqun, what is this sayga used for normally? Insha ikhbar. Insha. Now, when you do insha, it's as if basically you broke the marriage. You actually shattered the marriage. You broke the, you gave the talaq wujud. You can't change it now. You've given wujud of it. So the bal in insha, bal doesn't work. Why? Let's say for example, let me get an example. I'm selling bitcoins. Yes? And I sold a bitcoin 20 years ago when it was worth nothing. Or I sold you a piece of gold, this much gold, 20 years ago and had low value. And I said, qabiltu, and you said, ishtaraitu. I said, bi'tu, you said, ishtaraitu. And I said, bal akhaztu. And I meant bal for that, bi'tu 20 years ago. Is that going to be any, you can't have transactions then, can you? So when you have an insha, you can't do the insha. The talaq has occurred. Are you following? If I said, I owe you money. Alayya, I owe you alfun. Say bal, alfan. That's iqrar. Now iqrar, we are going to explain this a bit shortly. That's iqrar. That I am saying I owe you 1,000, actually I owe you 2,000. Yes? So this one, just keep this in mind, that's going to come up separately. But you can do bal to do tadaruk of a ghalat in ikhbar, not in insha. Does that make sense, everybody? Is that clear? Yes. Now based on this, now this masla already came last in thumma, but remember, that before we go on more, a madkhul biha, if you get married to somebody, a husband marries a woman, and if the marriage is consummated, how many talaqs can you give? 3. If the marriage is not consummated, how many talaqs can you give? 1. After 1 talaq, what happens? You're separated. Now based on this, like an example of bal. فَإِذَا قَالَ لِغَيْرِ الْمَدْخُولِ بِهَا, how many talaqs is he going to have? غير مدخول بها. 1 talaq. أنت طالق واحدة. So what's أنت طالقة in terms of صيغة? Is it خبرية إنشائية? Huh? It's إنشاء. Can you do what? Can you do تدارك and change the إنشاء? Huh? بل الثنتين. Now when you said you can't change, you can never change this. It's finished, done. Now this is useless now. This is laghwa because you can't. 1 talaq happens and straight away what happens to her? Talaq occurs. Waqa't wahida. 1 talaq will occur. Do you understand? अच्छा. لأن قوله لا بل ثنتين is رجوع عن الأول. Is doing رجوع. And رجوع عن الأول. Basically saying no, I didn't give you 1, I gave you 2. بإقامة الثاني مقام الأول. By saying actually I didn't mean to say 1, I meant to say 2. ولم يصح رجوعه. In insha you can't do رجوع. Are you following? In insha you can't do رجوع. So really, this we're not going to consider this. But because she's غير مدخول بها, أنت طالق واحدة, how many talaq occur? 1. And the second kalam we don't consider it because you can't do رجوع. فلا يبقى المحل in the قول ثنتين. Are you following? You following? Well, sorry, I shouldn't say this doesn't occur. Let's leave that for now. What we're saying here is when he says 1 occurs and then is she a wife still? So then this has no mahal. Don't say it doesn't count. That's wrong. That's incorrect to say that because then it's got a problem next masla. So why I said it's incorrect. Don't say it doesn't count. It's laghwa. It does count, but she's not mahal. Are you following? The same way in the thumma example, when you do ta'liq, she's not mahal for the 2nd and 3rd talaq. Yes? So when you say anti taliqun wahida, 1 talaq occurs. You can't do ruju from that. And bal thintain, that has no mahal. She's not your wife anymore. You understand? Acha. ولو كانت مدخولا بها يقع 3. If she's madkhul biha, how many talaqs can you give her? Up to how many? 3. So when you say anti taliqun wahida, what happens now? How many talaq occurs? 1. And you can't change that. And you said bal thintain, we have to add to that. You add 2. You can't because you give, so by saying anti taliqun wahida, that's insha. So we say so you've broken 1 glass. I say anti taliqun, and basically it's bal, you can't do ruju. So now you're putting, as if you're saying now, anti taliqun thintain. So 1, 2, 3. The 3 talaqs, finish. Because you can never do ruju from an ikhbar, because it's not become a game. When you do insha, it's not ikhbar, from insha. You can never do ruju from insha. So when you say anti taliqun wahida, how many talaq occurs then? 1. La bal, can you do ruju? No. Anti taliqun thintain. New. So because you can't do ruju from insha, so therefore 3 talaq will occur. Some people will argue, why not just call it 2? They don't do that. They say no. Okay. However, in iqrar, هذا بخلاف ما لو قال. If you said in iqrar, لفلان علي ألف لا بل ألفان. How much do I owe you? 1,000 dirham. And he said, sorry, not 1,000, I owe you 2,000. What will you say here? لا يجب 3,000 عندنا. وقال زفر يجب 3,000. Imam Zufar says the same thing here. You're doing iqrar. And iqrar, you can't do ruju from iqrar. It's ikhbar, but it's like if you do ruju, then it's like, oh, I killed him. No, I didn't kill him. So you confess the murder, and you confess the murder. I owe you 100,000 pounds. No, I don't owe you 100,000 pounds. It becomes a game. You can't do ruju from iqrar. Are you following? So Imam Zufar says, same as before. In talaq, can you do ruju from talaq? No. Can you do ruju from iqrar? No. So how much becomes wajib? So Imam Zufar is following the same rule as above. We say no. We're saying in this masla is different. What's the difference? لأن حقيقة اللفظ لتدارك الغلط. Because the حقيقة of bal is to do تدارك الغلط. Yes? بإثبات الثاني مقام الأول. Correct? ولم يصح أنه إبطال الأول. You can't do إبطال the أول. Yes? We agree so far on this one? Imam Zufar and we all agree. فيجب تصحيح الثاني. What we'll do here? We won't do إبطال الأول. We do تصحيح الثاني مع بقاء الأول. This مسألة. What you were saying for the talaq, how much will happen? How much will become necessary? 2,000. وذلك بطريق زيادة ألف على ألف الأول. We will say here. So if you say, for example, علي 3,000 بل ألفان. What will happen now? You say 3. I think according to the masala, I could be wrong, but this is what it should be. You do tasheeh. You say, well, that tadaruk, that bal is not valid. You can't come down, you can go upwards. We'll go upwards, we won't come down. So in this situation, it won't be 5,000, what will it be? 3,000. Because it's a tuhma. Or if we say, oh, bal alfan, you're bringing it downwards. It's a tuhma. Because if you do ruju, kulli, it's saying, I owe you, لِفُنَا عَلَيَّ أَلْفٌ لَا بَل لَا شَيْءٍ.
Why does the same thing not apply
for? Because talaq is fully insha. This is kind of bain al-ikhbari wal insha. That's why it's a bit slightly different. That's why we've done a bit of istihsan and leave the qiyas. Imam Zufar says no, same thing. Okay? بخلاف قول إن طارق واحد لا بل ثنتين لأن هذا إنشاء وذلك إخبار. But it's not إخبار محض. Why is it إخبار? فيه تهمة. You funny? The tuhma in there. That what he's just lying and making up stuff. So we do tasheeh, we won't do tadaruk. Let's say for example, I say, oh, I owe you 100,000 pounds. And I realize, oh, mistake. Bal junayhun wahid. So no, doesn't count. But if you say, oh, you are 1,000, actually 2,000, we'll do tasheeh. فهمت؟ والغلط إنه يكون في الإخبار دون الإنشاء. فهمت؟ فأمكن التصحيح اللفظ. We do tasheeh. So tasheeh basically means take the higher option to avoid tuhma. بتدارك الغلط في الإقرار to make up for the إقرار mistake, not in talaq. حتى لو كانت talaq. Now he's saying here, if you gave talaq and the sigh of talaq was what? إخبار. You're not giving talaq, you're giving إخبار of talaq. You're going to tadaruk in this. Let's say for example, let's say a person is talking to his friend and he's talking to his friend, no, he's talking to Mufti Sahib. So he said, well, yesterday I was talking to my wife and I got really angry and I said to her, I gave you 2 talaq. I gave you 1 talaq. So he's not giving talaq then, Razi. What's he doing? He's reading a story of the talaq he gave to his wife. Are you following? So in that situation, it won't, how much, that's ikhbar now. Are you following? So if he's talking to his wife and he says to his wife, I give you 1. No, I give you 2. I give you 1. How much is going to occur? 3. If he's talking to Mufti Sahib the next day and he's saying, yes, this is what I said to my wife. What is this? Ikhbar insha. Can you do tabbal in there? Yes. So حتى لو كان الطلاق, if you're giving talaq بطريق الإخبار, like he's talking about it. بأن قال, he said, كنت طلقتك أمسي واحدة. Yesterday I gave you 1. No, I said I gave you 2 actually. Now he's not giving insha, he's giving ikhbar of the insha previously. So if the previous day he said, طلقتك واحدة. Yes? On Monday he said this. Okay? And then on Tuesday, his wife said, I was sleeping half. What did you say to me? And he said, yesterday I said to you, طلقتك ثنتين. Yes, طلقتك ثنتين أمسي. No, sorry, بل واحدة. This is right, because this is ikhbar now. This is ikhbar of what the insha that took place on Monday. You understand? Fahim? So this bal is sahih, not this bal. Are you following? Yes? So yaqa'u thintan lima zakarna. Okay, subhanallah wa bihamdi subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.